All right, let's get right to it. The elimination method. Okay, again, we know what the answer we're shooting for is 2 and -3 because it is right on the slide there. So here we go. By the way, in this one here, I would personally use the substitution method because you already have y isolated. I generally like the elimination method better than the substitution method, but in this situation, I would use the substitution method in the other video first. But here we go, the elimination method. So what we really need to do first is we need to rearrange. So we need to bring this 4x, negative 4x to the other side, and that's going to be 4x plus y equals 5. And that's why I would do substitution. I actually have to rearrange number 1. Number 2 stays like it is. Now I can get a look at it. Okay, now I can get a look at it. Okay, so this was still number 1 rearranged, and that's number 2. And now I need to match them up. I can match up the x's, or I can match up the y's. I matched up the x's last time on the previous video, so we're going to match up the y's this time. See, if I don't touch this one, but I multiply this one by 3, I'll have 3 for both of them. Right? So I am going to take number 1, and I'm going to multiply it by 3. I'm going to take number 2, and I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm going to leave it alone. So here we go. Number 1 multiplied by 3. Well, that's 12x plus 3y equals 15. So you have multiplied each one of them by 3. I'm not going to touch number 2. I'm just going to rewrite it. 13, okay? And now I have to say to myself, how do I get rid of this? And the last time we subtracted, we can't subtract this time, because I have a 3y and I have a negative 3y. And 3y plus negative 3y is 0, and I need to get something to 0. So I'm actually going to add, and I'm going to add, and I'm going to add. Okay? And you'll see why in a second. 12x plus 2x is 14x. Okay, that's all right. 3y plus a negative 3y, careful with your signs, plus a negative is a subtraction. That's 0y. So it's eliminated. Ha! Elimination. So 14x, 15 plus 13 is 28. So now we have 14x equals 28, right? We know we divide by 14 and x equals 2, right? Remember, we are dividing by 14, okay, in both cases. So x equals 2, okay? And there we go. Now, how do we go and find what y equals? Okay? And to find what y equals, we just take our x equals 2, we come up and substitute it into one of them. I'm going to pick the first one. So I am going to substitute x equals 2 into number 1. Okay? And if you've already watched the video on substitution, you're like, well, that looks exactly the same. And it is exactly the same. It's just a different method of getting this first variable. Okay? So here we go, we'll get our blue. So we have y equals 5 minus 4x. Y equals 5 minus 4. X is 2, so we're going to put a 2 in to replace the x. Right? Y equals 5 minus 8. And therefore we have y equals -3, which if you looked at the slide, 2 and -3 is exactly what we wanted for an answer. So we know it's correct, 2 and -3. Therefore, the point of intersection is 2 and -3. Point of intersection is 2 and -3. We know it's right because that's the answer that we were shooting for on the slide. Okay. The other video, if you haven't seen it yet, is on substitution. It's just a different way to approach it. It'll give you the exact same answer. We'll see you in the next group of PowerPoints on the next slide deck.